You don't have to be a sonar operator to understand that that sound is a bad noise. Welcome to the shop. Let's dive right in. We got our radiator in, we got our fan shroud on, we got our clutch and fan in. We go to give her a spin, and done. That will not work. Why is that so bad? Well, let me show you. The finish line isn't far away. I have to get the truck running. And if the coolant system can't run, truck can't run. I need to get the truck to an exhaust shop before the end of the month, because at the end of the month, we have C10 Nationals. Those are September 29th and 30th at the Nashville Super Speedway, and I want to be there with the truck. It is September 2nd now. Can I get this done in the next 20-something days? I hope. Since the clock's ticking, let's dive right into solutioning and see what we can get done. We could delete the power steering. That would remove the bolt from the equation altogether. We could then get a manual steering box, put it in here. We would lose our quick ratio box, so I don't want to do that. All the accessories are new, so I don't want to do that. All the belts aligned, so I don't want to do that. All the pulleys, we actually have the correct links and they're ready to go, so I don't want to change that up again. That leaves the radiator. This is a Holley Frostbite. It is a 4-core radiator for a 67 to 72 C10. This radiator is awesome. I was using it with the 396. It held my temperatures where they needed to be, and it was more than enough capacity. Let's find a shroud and some electric fans, some sort of thermal switch, get that all installed, and convert this thing to electric fans. Cautionary tale time. Why am I not just coming over here, taking a grinder, making a template, and trying to remove the same amount of material from each one of these blades? Little thing called balance. This is a centrifugal object. If it is out of balance, I don't know by how many grams left or right the wrong way, what it'll do is it will wear out the bearings inside your water pump. And if the bearings inside of the water pump seize up, the water pump will not work and you will overheat the motor. Other thing, if it puts too much stress on one of these not being balanced, one of these could come off. Do I want to be around when it does that? Heck no, it'll be moving. While I got the fan out, let me go over the advantages and disadvantages between a mechanical fan setup and an electrical fan setup. The mechanical fan, it needs nothing. It just needs the motor spinning. And as long as there is hot air coming across the radiator to engage this clutch, this will spin as fast as the motor. By volume, this will move more air than a set of electrical fans. The disadvantage is it'll only spin as fast as the motor is spinning. Now, what do I mean by that? You're sitting in traffic, the motor is idling at 700 RPM. That fan can only spin at 700 RPM and it can only move 700 RPMs worth of volume across that radiator. That is how a lot of older cars overheat in traffic, is the capacity to get the hot air out of that radiator to cool down the coolant inside. Electric fans, they can spin at full speed and you can be sitting in stop traffic and you can sit there all day and idle and it will maintain that temperature of your motor a lot better. And there's no parasitic drag. This will drag on the motor because you're taking power from the crank to spin that fan. Now, would I have felt it? Probably not, but something to keep in mind. Some good stuff has happened. Some parts have come in. Got a wiring harness here. Got a radiator, fan shroud, and fans in there. Let's get them out. All right, we got shrouds, we got fans, we got clips to hold the fans to the shroud, we got a wiring harness, we've got some electrical connectors, we've got a thermostat here. Now I've got to figure out how to get it all on the truck, so let me get started. Taking a gander at the harness to see how bad this is going to be. And actually, it's not too intimidating. We just have to pick where the thermostat needs to go. I actually have an orange wire already in my harness from when I rewired the truck. I left that electrical fan option in there just in case I ever needed it in the future. I have to pick a spot for a thermostat. It's probably gonna go back here by the number 8 cylinder, or is that number 7? One of the back cylinders. Hottest part of the motor. So that way, we'll see. Hook up the negative to the black wire, and the blue one should be a positive. If it would stay connected. Let's make sure these work before we mount them in the truck. Continuity. Spins right up. Let's see the other one. Ground. Continuity. I like it. We got it. All right, let's get the radiator out and get it prepped and put some nutserts in it, and then we can mount this in the truck. I will say, that looks really nice in there. And if it doesn't work, you'll find out. We'll see if this Frostbite can keep up with a 540. But I think it's time to do some electrical work. And I'm not gonna bore y'all with that, I'm just gonna get it done. Basically it's a thermal switch. I gotta find a spot for it. It's probably gonna go back here in the corner. Hottest part of the block. And yeah, I'm gonna get busy. Apologize, you might hear the fan running. This is pretty cool. So there was a slot back here. We were able to get our thermostat back here in the back corner of the block. This is the hottest part of the block anyway. The back 2 cylinders always get the hottest because they're furthest away from the water neck and the circulation. So if this gets hot, those come on and it begins the cooling system. Pretty happy about that. We are gonna use a relay with this, and what that means is we're gonna have a wire coming from our ignition, which is this orange wire. So when the ignition comes on, it says, hey, activate this thing. Then we're gonna run our gray wire to the thermal switch, and as soon as the motor hits 185 degrees, this is gonna ground out. And when it grounds out, it's gonna activate the relay, and the yellow wire coming from the battery is gonna be positively charged, and that thermal switch, when it grounds out, it's gonna kick the relay over and it's gonna open the switch that's gonna send wire down this red wire to our fans. There's 4 wires here. It doesn't include the grounds that need to come off the fans. We'll just ground those to the chassis, and this will be ready to go. Something I want to point out that I went and did. You see this? This is the connector that they had to hook the 2 fans up. I didn't like this because this is going to live behind the radiator. There's going to be water, road, debris, gunk, and all the other things that are going to come through that radiator. And I didn't like that. So I grabbed some of the Deutsch connectors and I swapped those out in the harness to a better connector. They're more water resistant, they're a little more resilient, and they should be able to handle the amperage. But on top of that, we made a lot of progress. We got the yellow wire. It runs all the way tucked in here. I don't have it in any sheathing or anything yet because I don't know if I like this harness or not yet. But we also got our fuse link down in there, and we're tapped into one of our mega fuses. So that way this thing works with the cutoff switch. And speaking of cutoff switch, let's energize the entire system. The ignition is on, MSD box and the coil are unhooked, so I'm not worried about anything. So the circuit's alive. That yellow wire is now charged. This should be activated. The red wire goes down to the fans. There's also a black wire that's a ground I had to add to the harness that did not come with it. But the gray wire, this is supposed to go to our thermal switch. And I'll show you something really cool about all metal vehicles. Watch this, because body grounds. I'm a fan of that. And with that, I think we're gonna call it on this one. I have to say, thank y'all for watching. We're gonna keep progressing. We're gonna finish wrapping up this harness. I've got some ideas on how to make this less ugly, but we'll show you that when we finish putting all this stuff together, because I think this thing all together is gonna be quite the reveal. So you'll see that coming up very soon. Y'all be good. Until next time, thank you. But there's one very important thing we need to do, and I need a Sharpie for that. All right, until next time, guys, Gorm of Gormworks,